We often in the beginning would just answer yes to like the question, are you a girl or a boy? And then just leave it. And then people get to sit with, wait, what? Because we wouldn't actually give an answer.
We always wanted to have kids.
Well, I think it was an argument for a little while about who would carry first because we both wanted to do it, but I am older and so I won. As queer people, it was really difficult to get pregnant and it was like a really big struggle at every level. And it wasn't something necessarily that we heard a lot of people talking about. It was so expensive and we were tapped out. So the baby came right in time to be broke with us, so. I'm non-binary and he's trans, and I think what we ultimately decided on was just we want this kid's feelings about gender to come from this person and not to come from us or from grandparents or from schools or from wherever. Can I use a fork? Yeah, okay, hold it.
I think some of the questions that come up often are like, why not just raise Zoo, like the sex that matches with like their genitals or whatnot, and then, you know, if they decide that their gender is something else, go with that. Okay. But I think that still sets this kid up for certain expectations that would come from outside of themselves. So if I'm raising you to be a girl, like you're gonna feel some kind of expectation to be a girl.
This person's gender or gender identity or expression has like zero to do with anybody else. So we never said that, you know, everybody else has to adhere to our rules or lack of rules about gender. We never said that, you know, somebody else has to change their pronouns. It was just this person. And really it's just listening to this person.
2018 was when California actually started allowing people to get X's on their driver's license as a way to identify. So you can either get M, F, or X. And so we had a conversation with our doctor and was able to get it approved to have just a blank space. So nothing on his birth certificate.
I don't think either of us put a lot of thought into the social security number. I kind of just assumed that they would have to do something differently since we had a birth certificate for this kid with no gender assignment, but that wasn't the case. I think they just like sized up our like 6-month-old baby and then decided for us, which was what it was. But they came back and said, you know, your baby is a boy, and handed us paperwork back, and we were like, wait, what? They gave us all of our information that we had back, and then it said that our social security card would be in the mail, and closed the window, and that was kind of the end of that conversation. There was no follow-up or explanation around how they came to the conclusion that they came to. We weren't able to file taxes unless this kid had a social security number, and we needed the money, so we had to do it, so we did.
Both Jay and I know that it's not fun to have documents that don't match. I've gone through it with, I had my name changed and I was able to get my license changed.
Idaho residents can now go gender neutral on their driver's licenses.
This legislation is very clear. It says you can identify yourself as a male, female, or with an X on a New York City birth certificate.
Well, right now in Colorado, you have this third option right there to put on your driver's license.
I definitely feel like I get the pushback of like, but this kid is not you. You know, I understand this is not me, and that It's pretty likely that they'll be cis and not queer, but to deny that they could be is also kind of like denying my own existence. How can I say Zoo wouldn't be this if I grew up to be a certain way? And it would have just been easier for me if I knew about these different identities and was able to learn about them and see where I fit into them. It's definitely something that we try to, I guess, model in a way.
Come on, Levette, let's go.
And so when we're out, right now this kid is obsessed with buses. If we're talking about the bus driver, like we're not gonna say he or she, will say that person. And it's just a way to show Zoo, like, we don't wanna assume anybody else's gender the way we wouldn't want anybody to assume yours. So I think it's just those kind of small things for now until Zoo has the capacity to have a bigger conversation. And at that point, we're hoping that these smaller things have added up enough that it'll be a little bit easier to have those conversations.
I do want this baby to know also that there are people in the world that don't agree with what we're doing, and so you're going to encounter those people. And so we practice saying things, and I don't pull my punches when people come and are combative with us in the street because the baby's there. I want this person to know that it's okay to stick up for yourself and it's okay to not have people step on you. It's something that I think is important enough that Miguel and I are willing to fight for it for this baby. And if it means we gotta take on more than makes sense, then we will. Because it doesn't feel right to me that we would be forced into a space where we would have to do something that we don't believe in and push that on our kid. I don't do that with me, and so I don't think it's appropriate to do it with the baby either.
It feels like the best choice because it's the best reminder for me that this is Zoo's life. And, even though we were the ones that did all these things and spent all this money to bring this kid into this world, this is still now Zoo's life. Folks feel like this is very new and very different, the way that we're parenting. And I think I'd just like to remind folks that it's really not. Like, we're still just overwhelmingly regular parents, and we're still trying to make sure this kid stays alive and find food that they'll actually eat. And our house is a mess and we got piles of laundry, and so much of this is just regular parenting. And we've just added this one other thing that quite honestly doesn't come up all that often